We are Tailgate Talk. Welcome into the show. I'm Matt Thomas. With me, we've got Kyle Schumann and Trent Williams. Kyle Mulwiney, nowhere to be found. Guys, how we doing?
Yeah, we're still looking for the guy. We don't know where he is.
He wasn't in Illinois. Let me tell you
He's
that much.
not in
We
Illinois.
we looked high. We looked well. There's no high points and low points in that flat state, but we
Yeah, we
looked
didn't,
everywhere.
there's no low points either. It's all the same.
Yeah, he wasn't in the corn. We looked very hard for
Well,
him,
we
but
checked the entire state. If you just like stand on top of a car, you could see from one end of the state to the other. It's flat.
yeah. Norm with that flow he's got, it should be pretty easy to find him. But now we didn't see him. But all right. Can finally be part of the Tailgate Talk on location conversation. So let's just get
One
into it.
of us. One of us.
I feel dirt. I kid you not. I got back yesterday. I had to take 2 showers. I felt so dirty being a part of that trip. So
Oh, because you had fun for once? Is that what it was?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go as far as say I had fun, but
I had
uh,
fun.
What was dirty about it? I'm still trying to figure
I,
that out.
I just
Yeah,
I
I
just
guess
don't.
the airports
Yeah,
are dirty.
I just don't like airports. That's the thing. But all right, before we get into the game, what are our impressions of Champaign, Illinois?
All right, fine. I mean, it was nice. What didn't blow me away, like Auburn did last year, but it was a solid town. We had fun.
Yeah, I mean, pretty spread out. That was a good layout. I thought the campus was nice. Nothing bad to say about it. Just it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was my favorite. It gave off Columbus vibes to me. Like, and I mean, I guess it makes sense because they're both kind of in the city, but it was just kind of like, eh, it wasn't necessarily what I'm used to going to Penn State games. Like we talked about it on Saturday. It was still just so funny that pulling up to the game 3 hours before kickoff and you wouldn't have even known that there was a game until you literally got like to the stadium. Like there was nothing. There were more people at the farmers market 2 miles
Yeah,
away from the stadium than
I,
there were tailgating.
I mean, I guess my
Yeah.
expectations were that was my expectation. I mean, you're going to play an Illinois team that just came off a bad loss to Kansas, haven't looked good at all at an 11 a.m. kickoff to a top 10 team that's probably going to spank them. That's exactly what I expected.
That wouldn't
Yeah.
happen in state college. But yeah,
No,
but
we can't get students in the game for a noon kickoff, 11 a.m. We wouldn't have any.
we're gonna do 9 a.m. like USC just got announced today. But um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a good trip. Flight home was great. I enjoyed the flight home.
The best part of the
Yeah.
game was I don't think they did it on purpose because they were playing all types of hype music.
Yeah, I
They
know.
Yeah, they played Zombie Nation, and of course,
Yeah,
state fans just went nuts and were super loud. It's like I don't think they put two and two together that was just going to take over their stadium like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, by that point, the game was pretty much out of hand anyway. So, um,
Yeah, vibes
Were
were
you guys
high.
happy? Were you guys happy with the Penn State crowd turnout at the game? I was pretty happy with it, all in all.
yeah. I mean, it was fine. Like in reality for a road game, I think it just my expectation because there were so many people that I knew that was going. I just figured that there were going to be tons of Penn State fans there, and like it was going to be all over the stadium. And I guess it really wasn't. Like it was just kind of
Yeah.
in that little corner. So, but
Yeah,
it was good.
PSA to Penn State fans. I mean, there were so many Penn State fans wearing blue, and it's like, what are you doing? One, we always wear white in the roads. Two, Illinois blue is one of their colors, so like you really blended in. It was just disappointing. If you're
Uh,
going up to a road
So
game,
they're not seasoned road travelers like we are. We just know what to wear.
I was going to wear white this weekend, but you know. Anyway, I was I would I the stadium though was not that bad. Like it's got that old timey feel. Like it looks older than Beaver Stadium with the brick and everything, but the facilities are not bad. So
yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty nice. And obviously, we don't have much room to talk. The exterior of Beaver Stadium is as a whole is nothing special besides the size. But yeah, I thought it was pretty nice. Yeah, you could tell there's a lot of band-aids. You could still, if you look closely, you could tell it's a really old stadium with a lot of renovations done to throw a band-aid on it, make it look nice. Nice stadium. I mean, I've been impressed with I think I've been to Minnesota. I think Minnesota is much nicer. But it was still nice.
I thought my favorite part of the stadium is where the band set, like right below the student section like that. I thought it was just a cool like backdrop in that end zone.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the whole like that back of the end zone there, the way the band was spread out across the whole thing, sat up top, student section behind them. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
And before the game got like out of hand, I thought in the first quarter, I thought the stadium was pretty loud for part of it, for only holding what 60 some thousand. So that was pretty good that way too.
Yeah, I think they announced 39. So
Yeah,
that
it
looked
definitely
great.
wasn't.
Okay.
There was a lot of empty seats.
Yeah, but yeah, there were some moments where it popped. But all right, let's get into it. What do we think? How are we feeling?
I think a lot of overreaction, which is normal. Um, Obviously, we're probably all a little disappointed in the offense. And I don't think there's any surprise in saying that. I think we're all pretty impressed with the defense. I don't think there's any surprise in saying that either. I think a little bit of a role reversal here from the first two games where the offense excelled and defense had some things we'd like to see improved a little bit. I think you could flip the script for this one.
I'm gonna go with what Trent always says. It's always hard to win on the road, especially in the Big Ten. It's just going to any of these away games, Illinois, Wisconsin, anywhere. It's just hard to win, and especially with Drew, first away game, just a lot of these young guys first away games, and I don't know. It looked crappy at first, and tried to put together the second half, obviously, but
Yeah, I don't think offensively, at least, there was anybody who played particularly well. Like everyone just looked sluggish. Like it wasn't good. I mean, the bright side is that you can play that bad and still cover and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in terms of like Allar and like that's to be expected. Like I thought he would shake out of it, and he never really did. But at the same time, he still did what he needed to do. Like when we need like second, like that drive to end the first half, like he single-handedly extended that drive, like, with his feet a couple times, that beautiful throw to Liam Clifford down the sideline. Same thing in the third quarter on that touchdown drive where Trey Potts throws a touchdown. Never thought I'd see the day where Trey Potts has a touchdown pass and Drew Allar doesn't. But again, that was kind of all him extending it. So I think you have to be encouraged there. So yeah, I agree that there's a lot of overreaction.
I'm just glad in his first game he didn't do anything like. I feel like in some of these games where Sean or maybe a different quarterback would make that one key mistake where Drew didn't make that mistake. Maybe he didn't make a big play either at times, but he didn't lose you the game, which is
no turnovers through
exactly
3 games. No turn, like as a team, no turnovers. Like that's on Saturday specifically. I mean, like that's all you can ask really on the road in a Big Ten game like that.
Meanwhile, Altmaier, I think, just threw another interception.
Yeah, that was a sight to behold. Like, I mean, I think he was obviously a little banged up and that impacted things, but Lordy May, like that was something else.
Gary Nova vibes.
Yeah, tell me about it. Like it was ugly, but I mean, you've got to be encouraged seeing that from the defense. Like that's gonna pad. That's like the USC last year, like turnover differential, where they had like 2 games where they had like 7 turnovers in each game, so they were plus 14 the entire season. That'll help. So I still like, I don't know. I still just feel like a lot of people, and even I was guilty of it, myself at moments where it's like everyone just judges it the what they see on the field in terms of the Ohio State Michigan test, which is like, to me it's fair because like you have like everyone knows that that's where we're going, but it's also not fair because we're not playing them on that day.
Yeah, I hate that line of thinking where it's like,
Of course you do.
I get it, but it's like if you're gonna sit there and like compare everything to, if you do that against Ohio State, if you do that against, you're assuming Michigan's playing a perfect game every week. You're assuming Ohio State's playing a perfect game every week. If we learned anything from watching college football these first 3 weeks, there has not been a team that's looking perfect. College football, it's part of the game is perfection is not in reach. It is, so even your best of teams look so terrible at times. I think expectations can just get, so if you're going to have that, line of thinking where like, if you run the ball like that against Michigan, well, let's look at Michigan's first 3 games and look at how they've played. And if they're going to play like that, then we could just as easily beat them. So I don't think it's fair to look at us in a bubble and think as though they're all playing these perfect games week in and week out.
Yeah, they're thinking the same thing as we are. Like, everyone does compare themselves to, like, these 3 teams in the East. I mean, Michigan was playing tiddlywinks with Bowling Green this past week, so let's, like, again, everyone overreacts every single week, but as Josh Page says, there's 12 weeks in the season, there's like 12 different teams that show up during the season, so we'll see which one comes out against Iowa here. But I think all in all, it was still a great game. We got the win. There's obviously some pain points here that we need to work out, but still early in the season. So let's calm down a little bit.
I think the biggest thing, like Matt had said, the fact that we played poorly and still walk away with a dominant 30-13 victory, I think tells you a lot about the state of our program and this team. The fact that we could play a really bad game and still cover the spread and, come out with a pretty dominant win in Drew Allar's first road start in the Big Ten, I think it means a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there's too much to add. I mean, we could dive into the nitty gritty and the stats, but I mean, again, I
do want to add. Can I add one thing that?
Yeah.
Dom DeLuca, superstar linebacker for Penn State. I'm just a big Dom guy. We're on a first name basis too.
I think we can shout out the linebackers as a whole. I mean,
they played really well.
The linebackers stepped up and played. That last week, that was my big thing, that if this team wants to take the next step, I think our linebackers need to show some improvement, and they came out to play. Dom DeLuca.
Trent gave them bulletin board material for this week. And Dom DeLuca forcing a fumble. He had a big tackle. Abdul having – who would have thought that?
Did Kobe King recover the fumble?
I think Kobe King recovered it, yeah. Who would have thought that, we need to sub out Dom DeLuca with Abdul and Kobe when Dom needed a break during the second half there. So, that's our big linebacker there. They all played well as a unit. So
that was the first game where I felt like Abdul Carter played aggressive and was just attacking the ball. Watching Micah Parsons last night, I missed that guy. I'll just say that I missed the guy. If you put Micah Parsons on this defense, I think we're a lock for a playoff team. Right? It's just crazy how good he is. Hopefully, Abdul Carter could take some notes and follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, I mean, although that pass was thrown literally right to him, but he was in the right spot.
Called it. I was sitting next to John, not Kyle, but I told John pregame, I'm like, Abdul Carter's going to have an interception today, and he did, but it was negated by half the team having an interception, so it didn't mean it.
It was like an Oprah Winfrey show. You get a turnover. Yeah. But hey, what we didn't get much of? Points off turnovers. But that's another thing for another time.
Yeah, no, that was, I mean, again, 20 points off of turnovers, not bad. When you take five turnovers to do it, not good. Especially when a lot of them came in opponent territory. Like, I think the first three, I think, were all either. No, the third one might have been at the R40, but the other two were opponent territory. So yeah, that's a little bit of a concern. But
the first quarter we should have been up 3 possessions after the first quarter. We were up 6?
No doubt. And on their that first score they had there was a huge hold missed. A huge hold. It was
trying to complain about the refs. I always complain about the refs, just like winning. Would winning even go anywhere?
No, see, that's what's different. I rarely complain about the refs. So when I do, it was egregious.
Yeah, we've got Mike Pereira down here, official, but
Ron
Pereira. The only other thing that I can think of too that was just, I mean, it was uncharacteristic, but also just obviously not good, was the penalties, and especially the dumb mental mistakes. Again, like we said, everybody just seemed kind of sluggish, and those are killers. They didn't come in the best spots, but you're still able to overcome them. So
yeah, penalties weren't good. Especially the stupid ones. The one that you truly can control are those stupid personal fouls. That's just dumb stuff that we can't afford in bigger games. One other thing I wanted to touch on, well, two things. One, Caden Saunders, great game. Had some good returns. Starting to see him a little more at that receiver position, which is nice. So that was a good plus up. I did want to touch quick on the special teams before we move on to thoughts on that. Franklin going for that long field goal that got blocked. Personally, I didn't hate it. I thought we were in like a no man's land. It was 4th and 17. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to go for that, but at the same time, punting's not doing you any good. If I didn't hate the field goal, obviously it wasn't very well executed. Not on the kicker though. That was just like a no man's land. That the penalty's to blame there, not really the decision, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been one of those that if it came back to bite Franklin in the ass, everyone would have been going crazy about it. But it really wasn't that bad of a spot. You could make the argument that the defense was playing so well at that point, pin them deep and go about it that way. But I was fine with it. So
Yep. Now I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable with the kicking game, Falcon. I think we obviously were a little scared after that first game. Made the change to him, and he's been solid. So I'm feeling much better about the kicking game. We'll see if that continues.
yeah, no, I agree. Everyone have a good flight home yesterday.
Yep. All
Everything-
did.
Everything go good.
Home nice and early,
Yeah, got to watch the NFL games. It was good. Some of us had to watch it on in-flight Wi-Fi, but that's fine. I hear the Charlotte airport's real nice, by the way. All right, on to Iowa. Whiteout game, 7:30, CBS. Weather's gonna suck, so they say.
Let's check out Matt's editing skills here to see if he could insert the famous Iowa fan mocking our injured players.
I've got too much time.
Wait, Trent, why are we going to this game? I thought people have said that the whiteout's dead and there's no turning back. Why are we even going to this game?
The whiteout as we know it is dead, yes. But still whiteout, still going. Still gonna be fun.
Bring that article back. People were not happy with you.
Just retweet it. Retweet it for this week, just to piss people off.
No thanks. I'm sure
All about the views.
Well, I think it is all about the views, but I think I prove out my point. Would you rather see Michigan in this spot or Iowa?
I'd rather see it not rain, and it looks like it might rain. So going into this game, I'm a little scared of it. Rain does not play into our hands as well. Iowa is probably sitting at home praying for rain. Yeah, both for their farmers and for the field, because that will play right into their hands.
Yep. Very good defense once again. They're 5th in the nation in explosive play, defensive rate. Total defense, they're one of the best teams in the country, one of the best teams in the Big Ten, top 30. Offense, though, we'll see. Are they going to score 25 points? I don't know. The newest development, as we record here on a Monday night, and I knew my Twitter was going to update like that, so I'm glad I took a picture of it. On Monday night, Iowa released their depth chart today, and Luke Lackey, who's their starting tight end, one of the best tight ends in the country, is done probably for the year with a right leg injury. Their starting running back and their backup running back, Caleb Johnson and Jazoon Patterson, are both going to be out as well. So that's a lot.
Now, unlike Iowa fans, we're not going to cheer when their players get hurt. So
that's because they didn't. It's because they already are. But the interesting thing is their backup tight end is Eric All. And if you remember the last time that Cade McNamara and Eric All were on a field in Beaver Stadium, it didn't end too well for us. There's that long touchdown against Michigan in 2021 that kind of ruined that game. But so we'll see.
Well, Cade McNamara's not on Michigan's offense anymore, though. He's in the Iowa offense. Very different.
And you know what? He's not a good quarterback. There's a reason why he transferred. He's not good.
Wow. I mean,
he fits Iowa's offense perfect.
He's literally an Iowa quarterback. It's kind of like when as soon as he hit the transfer portal, I was like, come home. It's like he's not good.
Yeah. No,
So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, defensively, obviously, Iowa's good. I mean, we just played Illinois, so I was looking at this. We just talked about our offensive struggles with Illinois, and I think ESPN has Illinois ranked 77th in defense. Iowa, they have ranked 12th. So, it's not going to get any easier for the offense this week. That's definitely going to be our first real offensive challenge. Although now appears that last week was our first offensive challenge.
yeah. But at the same time, you've got the whiteout playing in your favor. You've got
Now, if it rains, it'll be like a green, red, yellow, every color but white out because who has white raincoats?
I do actually. I do.
Uh,
So,
not a real raincoat.
yeah, I do. I got a North Face raincoat in there.
Yeah, it's not a real raincoat. It's a
No.
winter.
Sorry, I forgot. Trent knows everything. My bad. Too bad. Forgot. But
Gore-Tex.
yeah, forgot. If Trent wears it, then you know you make a good product. Apparently, so
Exactly.
you should be a secret shopper. Maybe that's your actual. Maybe that's your actual calling in life.
Rob's gonna be wearing his Cornhusker red suit. So
Be like I didn't
my point stands.
didn't know the Cornhuskers were in town today.
Rain will ruin the whiteout because rightfully so, most people are going to take dryness over color.
It's already dead anyway. So
I will make sure
Yeah,
I
it
will
is.
have a white poncho over top of my raincoat just to stick with the white. But yeah, another reason I hope it doesn't rain. It'll ruin the whiteout and it will play into Iowa's hands.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think offensively, we need to be able to move the ball better. We can't get in these little like lulls that we got in last week where just these 3-and-outs are killers. It's a killer for offense, obviously, but also defense. When your defense is just going out there time and time again, I don't think we can expect to have 5 turnovers this week to help get our defense off the field quickly, like they did. It felt like our defense was out there nonstop. So that's something we definitely need to take care of this week. We just, even if we're not necessarily scoring every drive, obviously that's not going to happen, but just move the ball enough so we could keep, time of possession in a decent spot and keep our defense rested. I think that'll help a lot. And then defensively, this is another game where they should be able to come out and, show their worth because we know this Iowa offense is not very good. So even if it does rain, I'm pretty confident our defense should keep this one to a very, very manageable point scoring needed from our side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
go passing wise, like Iowa, not that great. They're 121st in the country in passing offense, compared to rushing offense, where they're 72. Not terrible, but not the best either. So, the big question is, does Iowa score 25 points this week?
No,
No.
they don't get near that.
That 40, what they put up 41 just recently, that goes a long way.
Yeah, well, it ain't gonna go a long way this weekend.
Yeah. No, I mean, so looking at Iowa's schedule, I mean they do not have any good one. Really, no one. I mean, they beat Iowa State in an ugly fest. I get it. It's an in-state rival.
Iowa State just lost to Ohio.
Exactly. Iowa State just lost to Ohio. Utah State they beat, but Utah State just lost to someone bad last weekend too. So Iowa's resume has not been impressive. It's just looking at what they put up. I mean, 24 against Utah State, 20 against Iowa State, and then 41 this past weekend, and a nobody. But even that was a slugfest for a little bit in that first half. Probably, and I said this last week that we should be able to put up 40 on Illinois. Clearly, that didn't happen, but I would think we should be able to put up, at least that 30 mark. I'd like to keep that 30-point, marked alive here.
Let's agree with that.
Yeah, 11 games in a row, the longest streak in the country. I think we could do it. I think we can. Shall we get to prediction time, Coco? We'll do pick your plate and we'll just move on
Utah
here.
State lost to Air Force, by the way, this past weekend.
Well, I was concerned with what Utah State was
Yeah.
doing. Thank you.
Just found it.
Score prediction, I'll go 31-10 Penn State. I think we get just over that 30 mark, and Iowa's offense is going to be in full effect this weekend. I think it's just going to be hard for them to move the ball, and we'll get a cheeky touchdown somehow and struggle to get a field goal. So I think 31-10. Matt, what's yours?
I will go 34-17. And I think the 17 comes in a garbage time, kind of like we've seen the last couple of weeks. So
It'll be a good transition because Penn State is favored by 14.5 and the over under is 41.5. So I have the under and Penn State covering.
go to Trent. I always forget about this, so I got to do the math right in my head.
Yeah. If you don't pick scores, you don't need to do the math, man. Yeah. I'm honestly a little torn with this one. Iowa is just this team that lives for this underdog moment in the bright lights, tough environment. Like, they are the team built for these little sneaky victories. I don't think they're going to beat us, but I think they are the team that, like, they do pull it off every so often in these big stages. I could see them covering for that reason. I could see them sticking around. I could see this game being ugly for a while. If it does rain, I think that's going to play into their hands.
Let it be known, no Iowa fan, Trent Williams.
Yeah, I actually think
Trent.
Iowa to cover this game.
Trent, does it change your opinion that we've covered every game so far this year?
No, it does not.
Just saying.
I
think we were one of the big cover teams last year too. We were like one of the.
It doesn't change my opinion. I mean, I picked us to cover the first 3 games, so unlike you picked West Virginia to cover.
I was wrong.
Okay, yeah, got you there. He admits when he's wrong, Trent. Maybe you should learn.
I'd have to be wrong first.
I think we can.
Trent, and who do you have
find a couple of those
with the over under?
I like the over, actually. I don't know why, but I think we do hit that 30 mark again. I just think I was gonna put up some points. I don't even want to say this, but I could see a defensive touchdown for Iowa in the making. And it pains me to say that as a Penn State fan, but we've been a little too good with the turnovers this year offensively, and I could see Iowa's defense is very good.
So he's basically telling you a Penn State score. He's basically telling you an Iowa score, but you can't just pick a score. So
did not tell you either of those things. I just said
going to score at least 30. At least 30.
That could be 90.
Matt, what are you thinking?
I'd like to see that happen. What I've got covering the spread and over. So I believe I did my math right.
Jot it down here and over. All right, so going off our game, let's move on to Florida State favored by 2 at Clemson. I think it's a noontime game. Clemson had that tough week 1 loss, and now Florida State beat LSU. So now this is a hard game to pick, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of these teams anymore, especially Florida State this past weekend. I know it's the red bandana game, but still a little scary.
Wait, Trent, I thought the red bandana was for Boston College, but sick.
Yeah, I'm saying Florida State.
It was like, no, it's the whiteout, Trent. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought you were saying Clemson's having a red bandana game. Like, that's not right.
No, I'm just saying how Florida State, had a tough one. They won by 2 against Boston College.
Clemson's doing the orange ascot game.
Probably will, all that Southern money.
So yeah, I don't know what to think of this game anymore, but that's not a lot of points. I'm hoping Boston College just plays really well in that red bandana game, and Clemson's quarterback situation still sucks. So I'm going to go with Florida State.
I mean, the key thing is, I almost said Clay Travis. The key thing is Jordan Travis. He was hurt, from my understanding, at the end of that game, like even just banged up a little bit. So if he's still shaking up, this could go bad for Florida State. But I think that they get it done, and I think that they cover.
I really want to take Clemson because I feel like Dabo just like won't let this team like fall off the rails too much more, but I don't see it happening. I think Florida State's a good team this year, so I'll take Florida State. Another struggling team. We're gonna do Ole Miss and Bama. That over under is 56. Alabama looked like shit against South Florida. They won what 17-3, and
I wouldn't know how they looked because half the game I couldn't see the coverage.
with that storm down in Florida, and you had it was like Tailgate Talk was producing that.
I think we could have
that game.
We could have done a better job producing that from our iPhones.
I think it was just the Wi-Fi in the apartment was so bad.
It didn't make sense though that the fans were allowed back in the stadium and the players were allowed in the field to play, but they couldn't have camera angles because of the safety of the camera operators.
Yeah, well, you got all that heavy metal equipment, so
it's all those Disney cutbacks trying to save money, I guess. I don't know, with ESPN. What are you guys thinking for the over-under for 56 for this game?
Under. I haven't seen anything that Alabama can move the ball. And, Ole Miss runs the ball a lot too, so under.
Yeah, that Bama quarterback situation is just fascinating. It really is. I'm gonna go with under.
That's where Winnie's going this week. He's going to be trying to walk on and be the 4th string.
He might have a shot.
Yeah, he might.
I think that'd be a clean sweep for the under there.
I don't understand. Like, has it come out about Milroe yet? Like, what? It almost like he had to be suspended or something. How does he get a shot in that game?
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. So,
is the Bama dynasty done?
I think they might be a quarterback away from being Bama again.
Oh, so they're us.
So
well, they were us, I guess. Now we have our quarterback.
I was gonna say
they were us. Sorry,
you've been wanting to start this guy for 4 years.
Drew Allar to Alabama in the offseason.
Well, let's get that rumor going.
You heard it here first.
It'll be like the Franklin rumor. Franklin, they fired Mel Tucker today. I'm sure
Franklin's going to Michigan.
Sure, Franklin's going to Michigan State. I'm sure that's already out there. Hopefully Narduzzi takes that job. I'd love to see that.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
It was funny watching him get his ass beat on.
Yeah, I know.
Saturday night.
I'm sure Narduzzi's coaching stock's at an all-time high after that performance. He just will not put Christian Veilleux in. And part of me doesn't even feel bad for Christian Veilleux. That's what happens when you go to play for a guy like Pat Narduzzi. What are you thinking?
Two more here. We have Ohio State favored by 3.5 at Notre Dame. That's the primetime game. So we'll see what Ohio State looks like after this game, see how real they are. So
yeah, we're the primetime game. Get it right. They're just
we're the primetime game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it feels like it's that typical Ohio State trap that you see every single year where they struggle early on and they have that game where they're on the ropes and they maybe even drop one. And
the hell was that?
BK.
ESPN. BK ad.
We have a first sponsor. What?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Whoa.
I mean, they saw how much food we put back this weekend, and they were like, we gotta get on that show. But yeah, I mean, I could see it being one of those games. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame won, but I'm gonna go with Ohio State here.
Ohio State. But you think this is a trap game though? I feel like with a top 10 matchup, I feel like they would lose more of like an Iowa team or one of like a lower level Big Ten team. I feel like Ohio State comes up to play for a lot of these games. I'm almost like Ohio State, but I feel like I'm gonna start calling it a trap game for Ohio State.
Not a trap game, but it's that typical Ohio State lull that you fall into, where they like every single year they come out like we have the conversation all the time. Oh, Ohio State doesn't look that good to start the season. Oh, can you believe that they were in a game with so late, whatever. And then October they're humming on all cylinders. So
yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with Matt. Like they've looked terrible through game 1 and game 2. Put up 23 against Indiana, 35 against Youngstown State. And then this weekend for the first quarter, they didn't look great. And then they just clicked and like exploded. It felt like every 30 seconds they were scoring again. It felt like just right in time. They found that click right before the big Notre Dame game. But I also feel like Notre Dame just has that ability to find themselves on the winning end of things down the stretch in a game that they should not win. So something just always seems to go their way because we're always cheering against Notre Dame, and it feels like it just always falls their way. So I do like Notre Dame. They've looked pretty good. I think I'm going to take Notre Dame in this game to cover, but it's
Who do you want to see win this game? It's like the lesser of two evils.
I want to see
Ohio State.
Yeah,
I agree. All right, little Coco sportsbook action here. Last one here. So Iowa's been averaging about 300 yards of offense this year. If you take all those 3 games, I'm going to set the line at 275. Well, Iowa's offense have under 275 yards of offense.
Under. Right now with the rain and the way everything's looking, under.
I'm gonna go with under.
I thought that was interesting since you guys took the
the
over in the game. So it's kind of like
I'm feeling a defensive touchdown in there, which
it's gonna
it helps. I mean, it certainly helps.
No, but an Iowa defensive touchdown, not us.
Well, yeah, an Iowa defensive touchdown.
It helps Brian Ferentz, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I'm going under.
I'm going under as well. This offense sucks. It's Iowa. They shouldn't do much. Feel bad for the kids watching this game back in Iowa City. So,
all right, let's wrap up. We want to get this done. 40 minutes. We're almost there. Last call. Who wants to go first?
Well, real quick, playoff percentages. I want to see where we're at.
Oh, can't forget. I also have 2 last call questions.
After an interesting Illinois game there, curious to see what you think of our playoff chances.
Well, can we get a recap where we were at last week again?
That went 20% preseason, 20% after week 1, 25% after week 2. Kyle went 10% preseason, 13% after week 1, 15% after week 2, and I've been at 25% all year.
I'm bumping down a little bit. I'm 22.5. I mean, not much, but again, you can't play like that and beat Michigan and Ohio State. So,
well, inch up to 17%.
Yeah.
Which again, hey,
Coco doesn't even care. You could ask him, "How are you gonna feel about the team after next week, Coco?" I'm gonna inch up to 18%.
Yeah, we beat Michigan and Ohio State. Kyle's like 19%. No, I'm with Kyle.
Hey, if you gave us 17% going into the season, like,
I guess 25% is an insanely high percent, I think, which is where I was at preseason. And I'm actually with Kyle here. I'm going to bump up a little bit. I'm going with like 27%. I like the fact that we played poorly and still got the job done in a no sweat fashion. I like to see that. You got to win some ugly ones too.
Yeah, well, I was sweating on the plane yesterday. I'll tell you that much. And someone let one rip. And that was not enjoyable on the way back. But
ready for the last call here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I have 2. I have 2. Should I go 2 or want to circle back around?
No, we're rapid fire. Boom, boom.
Rapid fire. Will the Penn State defense force 2 turnovers in this game against Iowa? We forced 5, obviously, against Illinois. Did we force 2?
That was going to be my last call question. So I guess you got my last call question. I think yes.
I don't think 2.
I think definitely 1. I'll say 2 and give Trent that touchdown score that he's looking for, because he's probably trying to always end up being right. So
that's right.
Save it. Other question I had is, it's not a Penn State question. It's, what are your opinions on the Colorado? It's the biggest, debate right now after the weekend. What's your opinion on the Colorado fans storming the field as 23-point favorites against their rival Colorado State?
Let them enjoy it, because they're probably not going to win another game this year. So,
yeah, I don't know if they won't win another game. I think there's some other winnable ones out there, but this is a rare case where normally I would hate it, but Colorado's been so bad for so long. I don't mind it. In that circumstance where, it's just a crazy game, crazy ending, tensions were high, that cheap shot on Hunter. I don't mind the storming of the field just because they've been so bad for so long.
Yeah, if they were a perennial like top 15 team, then like this makes no sense. But like Trent said, because of the craziness of the game, comeback, 98-yard drive to force overtime, and all this, all all the personal foul penalties that you thought our penalties were bad. If you check the box score of that game, I think both teams had over like 100 yards in penalties or something crazy like that. It was like nuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I,
It's
I was happy with it.
when when we beat Ohio State in 2016, obviously we weren't a big favorite. We were a big underdog, but people said like, "Oh, you're Penn State, you're national powerhouse. Historically, you shouldn't be rushing the field." But it was our first game where we were back, and we were down the dumps for a while there. I think it was a big signifying moment, and I feel the same for Colorado in that spot.
Yeah, nothing like beating Colorado State. So, all right, Trent, you're up.
All right. So this week I'm going with Drew. Get back on Drew. Drew didn't play that well last week. As Matt said, Trey Potts had thrown a touchdown. Does Drew throw 2 touchdowns or more in this game?
No, because the weather, I don't think it's going to be conducive to throwing the football. He's up there thinking.
I think he gets back on train. Let's go 2. Why not?
Yeah, I think 2 is a good number.
If we can get receivers that catch the ball this week.
Yeah, I think 2 is a good number. But I mean, if you asked me if he was going to throw 3 last week, I might have taken it. So what do we?
Last week I would have thought. This week I don't think so. Well, I'm not coming up with another last call question because I don't want to, and I'm editing the podcast. So even if I did, I'd edit it out anyway. So, all right,
You'd have to call me to figure out how to.
I would. It's not easy. It's not easy. When are we gonna have Coco at one of these?
Matt hates the whiteout. He hates Deion in Colorado. He's all over the place this week.
No, I don't hate Deion in Colorado. I just said enjoy it while it lasts because you're not going to win another game this year. That's
Notice he did not correct you on hating the whiteout.
No, I never said that either. I have my work is out there for everyone to see, and you can go figure it out for yourself. So, and to do that, you can like us on Facebook, you can like us on Twitter, you can like us on Instagram, or you could send us an email.
That's a smooth transition.
Yeah, we're getting good. We are.
Tailgate Talk. The best.